This actually like really matters for your spiritual life and the health of your family and how you view the world. I mean, but I do just want to say this on angels. There's some interesting. First of all, they're obviously servants of God. There are reasons. Don't have time to go into it. There are reasons from the Bible that it seems like we actually might have guardian angels. Revelation 2 and 3 seem to talk about angels assigned to specific churches, and there's other passages that seem to, kind of allude to maybe even to people. I will say, dude, this is so Hebrews 13 says this: do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. What I've learned over the years as a pastor is way more people than you think have had encounters with something that may have been an actual angel than you are aware of, and people don't like to talk about it. I'm going to give a couple examples. My mom, and I asked her permission. If anybody knows my mom, you can say a lot of things about my mom. There's one thing you can't say. You cannot say she's dishonest. My mom, potentially to a fault, does not have the ability to not say what she believes is true. She can't do it. I'm going to pull this up real quick. My mom, when she was younger, my mom's father, there it is. My mom's father died of cancer when she was 7. And then my mom's mom, who's hugging Jesus now, had a very significant mental breakdown, and her and her siblings were needed. Her and her siblings ended up with other families. They were raised by other families, and that was obviously very difficult. There was, for my mom, she'll describe, man, there was a season of her life where a lot of bitterness. Mom, forgive me if I'm summarizing this poorly. Just struggling with resentment, anger, hurt, that kind of thing. She had a night. Well, I'm just going to read. I asked her to send me a synopsis. I'm going to read this to you. While I was treated very well in my present situation, I missed my mom and felt that she needed us, so my heart was torn. One night, I went to sleep with a heavy heart, praying and asking God that the right direction for us would be made known in the courtroom. I'm summarizing. The next morning, I awoke and my bedroom was filled with what I can only describe as a brilliant light. At the foot of my bed, there was a dazzling white figure clothed in what seemed to be a flowing white robe, seated at the foot of my bed. I sat up to see the figure better, and it immediately fled through my bedroom wall. I was left with a powerful sense of peace that God had heard my prayers. And I've heard her talk about this before, that there was these wounds in her heart that were instantly healed, and she never wrestled with those things ever again. And I won't summarize the rest, but I believe that was an encounter with an actual angel. I'll give another one. When I was 5 years old, I was at a state park, and I almost choked to death on, my parents still have a little fight about this. My dad gave me a peppermint after my mom told him not to. And I choked for, from what I understand, about 2 minutes, and they couldn't get it out. And finally, it got to the spot where they gave up. One person who was there gave up and just sat down and started praying because they thought I was going to die. At that moment, a man walked out of what was a quote-unquote man, walked out of what was the gift shop and asked my parents, said to my parents, I'm a physician. Can I help your son? And they were like, well, sure. And I remember this. And he flipped me over and he whacked me real hard on the back, and peppermint popped out. Wow. And everybody rushed around me to take care of me. As it has been described to me, they turned around to thank the man, gone. Like just gone. There is part of me that's like, was that a Hebrews 13:2? Like angels as ministering servants to the people of God.
That's literally what I was flipping out while you're telling that story, is because angels are servants of God, but they serve us. And this one of the things, sometimes in Scripture, God intervenes directly and does something directly. But what you also see in Scripture is He works through angels. And so you're kind of tying it back to, hey, why does this matter? In terms of the positive side, is stories like that. When people hear that, I know this people are like, oh, this all sounds weird.
It sounds weird to me.
As I've said before, does. Although if we have time, either now or later, I got something that shows that even secular people believe some weird things that they can't explain that are invisible. But maybe for later on. But no. Anyways, where I was going was like, man, they're here to serve. Oh, that was sorry. I didn't finish the thought, which is it sounds weird, but you hear enough of these stories, and what would be weird is if they were all just coincidences.
Yeah, bingo.
That would be the much weirder leap
more
of faith.
unlikely.
Way more unlikely. What is more reasonable, whether it's this or I know that Lee Strobel also talked about near-death experiences, that each sound weird or unlikely and unreasonable, but what would be more unreasonable is that they are all just coincidences, even though they have common threads and patterns in very different people's lives. But then also, and I know you're about to get to demonology too, is what you also need to know is that often a battle that you're fighting is a supernatural battle that you're trying to fight in the physical, and you're not going to win that way. And so often what is happening in the struggles of our lives is we're under demonic attack. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to try to fight a battle in the physical that cannot possibly win in the physical, that you have to fight in the spiritual.